The movie Bad Boys Ride or Die began in Miami. We see detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, his partner, driving too fast through the city on their way to an event. Marcus complained about being nauseous, and Mike continued his driving as it was Marcus who made them late. So Marcus begged Mike to stop at a store so he could get his ginger ale, which Mike later agreed but also gave him 90 seconds to do so. Marcus goes into the store and got his ginger ale with also a hot dog. Just then, a gunman then enters the same store trying to rob the place while also pointing and threatening Marcus. As polite as Marcus is, he informed the gunman about his not friendly partner, who would comfort him soon as they are already late, but the gunman seems not to care about that. Just then, Mike enters and complained about Marcus eating and getting a snacks instead of the ginger ale, but Marcus then moved the gunman's arm and Mike shoots him in the leg. The scene then shifted to Mike's wedding ceremony as now he is marrying his physical therapist Christine, who treated him after he got shot in the previous movie. At night, Marcus gave a speech, and as usual Mike is funny with his speech. So after his speech, Marcus then went to have a dance, but as he did so, he began feeling some massive pain right in his chest, which was a heart attack, making him lost consciousness. The scene then transitioned to Marcus reliving his moment and memories he had with Mike. Seems at this point Marcus has gotten to the point of no return, but fortunately for him, he found his dear friend Howard at a beach near a tree where he hugged and told Marcus it's not his time yet to die. Few weeks later, Marcus then woke up from his unconsciousness and began walking out of his hospital, which Mike noticed and immediately went after him, only to find Marcus at the top of the building. He explained to Mike how he has been afraid all his life, but this incident that just happened to him just made him realize how free he is now. And now there is nothing to be scared of, as now he believes it is not his time to die yet. The both then hug together. The scene then cut to a nearby place in Miami where we see a chopper landing. We are then introduced to a former DEA officer named James McGrath, who goes to meet up with a cartel banker and asked him to transfer some certain funds into an account in late Captain Howard's name. So for him to prove he mean business, one of James McGrath's men shot the banker's security guard, so he threatened him to make the transactions, which he did so, but after the whole process was done, McGrath then had the banker's girlfriend hold the gun to shoot the banker, and then herself. The next day, Marcus drive with Mike as he is now very fit, but his babe insisted that he needed a rest. Marcus get home only to see his family and friends as they all welcome him back home. He embraces baby girl, but she then told him that he needed to rest. Meanwhile, Marcus is sad that all his snack are now disposed because this was what the doctor had recommended them to do to reduce the chances for another heart attack, and now Teresa and Marcus are now vegetarian. At night, Mike seems to be having serious nightmare from his past. The news began to spread like wildfire as now the criminal department believed that Howard was working for the cartels. Obviously, he has been framed for his involvement with cartels. Marcus and Mike immediately went to their headquarters as he doesn't believe Howard couldn't do something like this, but they told him that everything point and linked to Howard. This made Mike very furious as he believed they want to ruin Howard's legacy. Just then Judy comes in, but now she does not trust anyone, even Mike, and she also blamed Mike's illegitimate son for the death of her father. Mike leaves the headquarters and heads straight to prison to meet Armando about any information on the cartel, as he wanted to know if Howard was working for the cartel. Mike's son Armando gave them some information proving Howard was clean. The scene then shifted to McGrath and his goons, who are attempting to continue their work, but once they try to get into Howard's accounts, they trigger a failsafe that sends a video messages to Mike and Marcus from Howard, which they both received, and Marcus is amazed that he is texting them from the other world, which was funny. Meanwhile, in it he explains that he knows they are seeing this if he is dead, and there are rats in their department, so they shouldn't trust anyone. Howard also told them that he knows that he is being set up to take the fall for something going back over 20 years. McGrath and his goons then prepared to take out Mike and Marcus. In the meantime, Mike informed Mike to leave the mission for only him as he believed Marcus isn't fit, but Marcus then informed him saying he can't die and began doing some dangerous things, but just as he leave we then saw Cabby Lane passing by. Mike and Marcus go to Fletcher's club to try and talk to him regarding Howard. He already knew that they will come to him on behalf of Howard, but just before he can tell the two what they wanted to know, McGrath shoots Fletcher in the head as Marcus already had his gun aimed at him to make him talk. McGrath walks away as his gunmen go after Mike and Marcus. So in the middle of the shootout, Mike then experiences a panic attack in the middle of the road, but luckily for him, Marcus came just in time to save him from an upcoming vehicle. The gunmen get away before Rita and her officers show up. Mike prevents Marcus from letting her know that they are going off by a tip from Howard, while also informing Rita that Howard has been framed. They also found out the video Fletcher was supposed to tell them earlier before he got shot. He explains in further detail that he was working a cartel case and kept Mike and Marcus off of it because two other detectives, Ruiz and Sanchez, were put on it and they got killed. Howard also reminded them that the cartels have rats inside the department who are off higher positions. Back to the prison, Armando noticed he was about to get attacked by some of McGrath's goons, so he prepared himself. Immediately the battle began with Armando eliminating them one by one before the cops then came in to apprehend him. Mike goes to inform them that Armando almost got killed at his prison, so Mike then pleaded that they transfer Armando to a secured prison in Miami, which they agreed to do so by transferring Armando through an helicopter, with the supervision of Mike and Marcus. Unfortunately for them, Marcus figured out that McGrath and his gang had already hijacked the helicopter and forced the pilot to send a distress message framing Mike and Marcus for the attack before McGrath then eliminated. After a long extended battle between them, McGrath escapes with some of his guys and leaves the chopper to go down. Mike and Marcus fight the remaining guys while trying to save Armando from flying out of the open hatchback. After they free him, Armando helps them make a crash landing into a lake. Mike and Marcus followed Armando as he led the way. The authorities survey the crash site and receive the distress message which framed Mike and Marcus. Rita also listened to the message and she doesn't believe Mike and Marcus could do something like that. However, Mike, Marcus, and Armando are all labeled wanted fugitives, while McGrath puts out a large bounty of $5 million on their heads to every gangster in Miami. Mike and Marcus follow Armando, who now happen to be on the run, which Marcus sees as a good opportunity for Mike to bond with his son, but neither is interested in connecting and just wants to get their names cleared. The next day, they all got to a place where they changed their clothes with also a vehicle. After driving back into Miami, the truck breaks down. Mike goes to meet a contact named Tabitha at her club for guns, clothes, and a vehicle. So in exchange, she demanded Mike to have Mike in her bed. However, Tabitha pretends to help them but is only stalling to get other gangsters in there to bring the three out for the bounty. Meanwhile, the cops also got a tip on the location of the bad boys. So just as they left the building, some rival gangsters came out and began to open fire, including Manny the Butcher, who wants to get back at Mike for smashing his hand with a meat hammer. Manny's ambitions are short-lived as the guys board a van and crush Manny into another car, and he then gets hit with a Molotov cocktail. The boys eventually found their way out. The next day, they all went to go visit Dorn, where they found out he has been in a secret relationship with Kelly. They are not happy Armando is with Mike and Marcus. However, they all agreed to focus on the mission at hand, so they began their investigation, which goes on for days. But just then, Armando found the picture of McGrath, as he can only recognize his face, but not his name. So Mike called Rita, informing her about the whole situation and also having the proof to clear Howard's name. Nearby, Dorn saw the security cameras of both Mike and Marcus' house, where he found out that McGrath had sent some guys to get Christine, as well as Marcus's family. So Mike tried to contact Christine, while Marcus gets in touch with Reggie and warns him about the incoming threat. Reggie gets Teresa, Megan, and little Marcus somewhere hidden while he grabs his gun and puts his combat and firearm skills to good use, taking out 17 goons and keeping the family safe, and also finally earning Marcus's respect, as he is really surprised by this. However, Christine is visited by Callie, who wanted to offer help in proving Mike and Marcus's innocence, but McGrath's goons have already made their way inside. McGrath contacts Mike and lets him know that he will return Christine and Callie unharmed if he gives up Armando and all of Howard's evidence. Armando is willing to turn himself in, but Mike has another idea, since he knows who has been feeding McGrath information on all of their whereabouts, as it was Rita's boyfriend, Lockwood. So Mike then gave a call to Rita and she immediately left her home, but just then he insisted to follow Rita and began texting something, to which Rita took the phone, which then made it clear to her it was him. They both began fighting when he tried finishing Rita off. Dorn and his girlfriend then came to help her out. The team prepare for their mission to go finish the whole thing off and also get Christine and Callie. McGrath and his goons get a call from Mike, who disguises Lockwood. Christine then discussed with McGrath about what had happened to him from the way his hands look, but he goes to inform her that Mike will beg them to spare his family life. Meanwhile, Mike and Marcus began their plan and also gave his team their role to play. While on their way, they found out that a deadly alligator is also in the area. McGrath and his goons walk toward Lockwood. While Mike has a shot on McGrath, he starts to have another panic attack and fears he might hit Christine. The gators in the water then start to come close to Armando's location, which clues McGrath to someone being nearby. Before one goon can spot him, Armando shoots at him before he falls in the water and gets eaten by the gators. And a battle began between McGrath, his goons, and the bad boys. Meanwhile, Lockwood tried to escape using the plane they brought earlier, which Rita saw and went after him. Rita then shot the plane down and has the plane crash into a nearby building. Meanwhile, Mike and Marcus are now in a tough situation as Marcus fell into the same river where Duke, the alligator, stays, but yet again, Mike still believes he is untouchable and so he can't die yet, but this was really a bad idea as the alligator attacked Marcus, but Mike then came to his rescue. Meanwhile, Armando fight off McGrath goons to save Collie. McGrath continued to hold Christine hostage as they are now on the run. Lockwood then shot Dorn in the arm and tried to shoot Rita, but she kicks him into a pit that happens to be where Duke resides, and Lockwood becomes Duke's present. The federal agents arrived at the event. Meanwhile, Marcus then saw that same tree he saw when he lost consciousness. Immediately, McGrath then caught Marcus while also promising Mike that one of his loved ones is about to die today, so Mike informed him that Marcus can't die as he is untouchable, but this alone scared Marcus. So Mike then shot Marcus, hitting his best, and proceeded to finishing off McGrath, while Marcus is busy crying like a baby. Nearby, Judy then finds Armando and prepares to execute him, but Callie stands in the way and tells Judy that he saved her life. Judy relents and lets Armando go, and Mike helps Armando find a way to get out. As authorities come to the crime scene and arrest McGrath's surviving goons, news reports state that Howard has officially been exonerated. We then get to see Mike, Marcus, and their loved ones gather at the park for a barbecue. Reggie brings his chicken and asks if he can grill. The bad boys laugh him off for a moment before remembering that Reggie killed McGrath's henchman and saved the family, so they agree to let him grill, while Reggie then gives a satisfied smile. The movie then came to an end. If you enjoy our recap, kindly subscribe for more latest movie recaps.